Well, hello and good evening to you, or whatever time of day it is where you are when you're watching this. Well, here we are at almost the end of 2024. Who'd have thunk it? Well, it's been quite a year, at least globally anyway. There's been a lot of events happening, a lot of nastiness out there, and I'd just like to take this opportunity to offer a very sarcastic and insincere thank you to our world leaders for making the Earth an increasingly unpleasant place to live. Way to go, guys and gals. Good job. Anyway, I digress. For me personally, not really a lot has happened this year. I did start a new job when I was working some stupidly long hours. Thus, my upload rate on YouTube has been rather sporadic, to say the least. However, the job is now in hiatus for the winter, thankfully. So I do have a lot more free time on my hands to get some videos done and build some models. Not necessarily in that order. But yeah, me likey. So I've been doing this here YouTube thing for just over a year now, about 14 months, I think. And I'd like to take this opportunity as well to offer a very sincere and heartfelt thank you to everyone that has watched over the last 14 months and subscribed and commented and liked and shared and jumped up and down and danced and all those things. Yes, thank you very, very much. You have grown this channel considerably, and I very much appreciate it. So thank you. It also occurred to me recently, I'm a little slow on the uptake here, that anyone tuning in to this channel for the first time would probably have no freaking idea what channel they're watching because I never introduce it. We must rectify this. Now, I had a look at other channels, and a lot of them have some very, very fancy graphics and music and roaring engines and flashing lights and pictures and all sorts of wonderful things to identify their channel. So I thought, perhaps I should get something like that. So I hired a team of consultants and spent millions of dollars. Well, actually, no, I did it myself for free. But this is what I came up with. Eh? Eh? Pretty high tech, eh? I mean, who doesn't like monkeys, right? Anyway, so yes, in case you're wondering, this is the Warped Plastic Modeling channel. So there we are. So I do have a small update for you today on the Hasegawa P-12E that I've been battling with for quite some time. Now, I did have a couple of comments from some people regarding the last video, specifically the rigging. Apparently, I didn't go into quite enough detail on that, on the process of rigging. I kind of thought I did. I mean, I did show the first wire going in some detail, I thought. But I guess some people wanted to see a bit more. So my apologies to you, and you'll probably be quite disappointed to learn that I pretty much have the rigging done now. However, there is a little bit more to do, so I will be going into some depth on that, and hopefully that will help clear up any issues that you had from the previous video. So let's carry on with that, shall we? But first, a word from our sponsor. And there you have it. Thank you to our sponsor, Thunderbird Models, and also to our other sponsor, Chilliwack Slot Car Palace, where the men are bearded and the hats are furry. Anyway, so here's where we're up to with the Hasegawa P-12E. Let me just get it into the frame here, shall we? There it is right there. It's getting there. So, as you can see, I do have most of the rigging done, at least the rigging between the wings. I do have to finish the rigging off on the tail here, and it's the exact same process. So I will show you how to do that, and hopefully that will clear up any issues or misconceptions or lack of information from the previous video. Now, I also made these spreader bars, if you can see them here somewhere. Here. Yeah, here and here. And they were a bitch to put in, I'll tell you. I made those from Albion alloys, micro brass tubing, and I actually filed slots in them so that it would sit down over top of the wires. and then filled the bottoms in with epoxy so that they actually do go through, or rather the wires go through the spreader bars as they should do, rather than having them just sit on top, which I think looks quite a bit better, but yeah, it was a pain in the ass to do. Yeah, glad that part's done. So yeah, it is getting there. It's looking good. I've got the tail planes on, and the struts on the back here, I made those from brass struts, which is this product right here somewhere. There it is. Struts. Hasn't been available for many, many years, which is a shame because it's very handy stuff. It's brass, it's airfoil shaped, and it comes in various sizes. Very, very handy, from anything from 72nd scale up to 132nd, 124th. Yeah, shame you can't get it anymore, but hopefully I got enough there to last me quite some time. But that's what I use for the struts on the bottom, on the underneath the tail planes there. And I'm also going to be using those for the aileron push rods once I get those installed. So yeah, kind of liking it. It's looking pretty okay, I think. But let's crack on with the rest of that rigging and get that done, shall we? Alrighty then. So I've already got my holes drilled just outboard of this hinge here, and then 2 up on the vertical fin on both sides. And as I mentioned in the previous video, it's fairly important to drill those holes at the approximate angle that your rigging wire is going to enter the surface, so that you don't get any unrealistic bend as it goes in there. And that's especially important here because it's a relatively short distance, and the material I'm using is fairly rigid. So if I drilled those holes perpendicular, what would happen is when that tries to go in, it's just going to bow out between those 2 points there. So we definitely don't want that. That's not good. So yeah, just take a best guess and drill it at the approximate angle you think it's going to go in. And I'll mention that these hinges here, I just made those from 30 thou plastic sheet, cut to size and sanded to shape. And you'll notice that there is a tiny slot on the end of each one, and I just cut those in with a very fine razor saw. And I've got the beginnings of my elevators ready to go here, and that will just fit on like so. And so I've got the leading edge built up with plastic sheet and just rounded off. But as you can see, I haven't blended that in yet because, like the rudder, that's going to be kind of a pain in the butt because of all the corrugations. So I'm sort of procrastinating on that part of it. Anyway, the other thing I should mention here too, I've got my wheels masked off with bare metal foil. There they are there. Let's get them in. So ready for painting the tires. And if you're interested in the process of masking with bare metal foil, I do have a video on that, so have a look at that. And you'll notice too that I've also flattened the bottoms slightly, which I think is also fairly important so that the airplane doesn't look like it's standing on its tippy toes. And that's something I notice a lot of modelers don't really do. Surprisingly, I've seen some very, very good models on YouTube that were just superbly finished, but they were stood up on their tippy toes. Just a pet peeve of mine. Anyway, so let's crack on, shall we? The tools I'm going to be using are a set of dividers, right there, for measuring the distance between the holes, some tweezers to help install our rigging, a stainless steel ruler right here, and that's going to be both for measuring, and also I'm going to cut the wires on this because it's very, very hard. Because the wires are so difficult to cut, they need a lot of pressure, and if I just cut them straight on the mat, it would just bend them. So stainless steel ruler is much better. And I also mentioned in the last video that I had a problem with a blade snapping off my hobby knife. Well, I'm not fooling around this time. We're not going to use a hobby knife. We're going to use this baby, a Stanley knife. That'll take care of it. And finally, of course, the adhesive of choice for me is epoxy. I've already got that mixed up. And once again, I'm using the 3-hour setting epoxy just because it gives me much longer working time and also greater strength than the 5-minute epoxy does. Are we sitting comfortably? Then we shall begin. All right, so take my dividers or calipers or whatever the hell these things are called. Check my distance here. And what do we got on the ruler? works out to just a hair over an inch and a half, about a 32nd of an inch over. So obviously I need to add a little bit extra to allow for the ringing wire that's going to go into the holes. You need something to anchor them in there. So I'm going to add, I don't know, 1/16 of an inch. I think that should do it. Because of the fact that these tail plugs are very rigid because of the struts underneath, there isn't going to be very much play in there. There isn't going to be any stress on them. So I'm not really too worried about these being as strongly anchored as the ones in the wings. So get that on there like that. Put the dividers down. I don't need those. And this is where it all gets kind of annoying. Try and keep these wires all separate. Now I've already cut one little piece out of here, so I'm starting about right here. Okay, a trusty knife here. So I want 3/32 of an inch over half an inch, whatever that works out to, which is right about there. Thereabouts. Alrighty, and yep, as you can see, it takes quite a bit of pressure to cut these things. It just wants to bend on me. Come on, there we go. That's got it. So yeah, that definitely worked far better than the hobby knife, which just kept snapping off on me. So I've got my wire now. The rest of the process is pretty darn easy. The epoxy ready here. Just take my wire that I've just cut. First of all, I'm going to test it just to make sure that it does actually fit in the holes. Yeah. Go with the top one first. Pop it into that bottom one. Oops, might help if I got it in the hole. In there. There we go. That's it. Pretty happy with that. It's nice and straight. It's anchored at both ends. So it fits well. That's the right distance. And I know too, I can cut the one for the other side the same size. And all we do now is we just take our epoxy, dip the end of the wire in it. You don't want too much, obviously, or you can make an unsightly mess. That on there. Okay, and stick it back in the holes. And that's pretty much it. That's all there is to it. And like I say, the process is exactly the same for the wings. Really no difference. Yeah. Probably using the wrong type of tweezers here. These angled ones aren't the best. There we go, let's try that. So, get in there. There we go. Got in there. And that's it. My wire is in. Once that epoxy sets up, it'll be nice and strong, and we're good to go. And so, yeah, the process is exactly the same for all the other wires. I don't know if I need to go into more detail on that, but I've already taken the liberty of cutting the wire for the other side here. So, spin that around, and we can do the one on the other side. Put some epoxy on there. Come on, get in. And there you have it. Got two wires in, lickety split, no trouble at all. I'll do the two rear ones, and that will be it for rigging the P-12. I like it. It's good. And there's wire number 3 and wire number 4 installed in exactly the same way. I thought I included a link to RB Productions' website in the last video. They're the makers of the etched rigging wire I've been using, but apparently I did not. And the reason being is they no longer have a website, it would appear. In fact, all they do have is a Facebook page, and it looks like that hasn't been updated since January 2020. So this leads me to believe they may no longer be in business, which would be a shame because they did have some very good products, this rigging wire being one of them. So I guess when I run out of my current stocks, I'm going to have to look for a new producer, which, hey-ho, that'll happen, I guess. Anyway, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it, as they say. Fortunately, I do have a fair amount of that stuff on hand, so I should be okay. Now, the rigging wire I used, I'll just put this over here because I don't want to drop that for some reason. So I've got 3 sizes here on hand. And from the largest to the smallest, we've got 9/32 BSF. We've got, that one's backwards, 1/4 inch BSF and 2BA. That's right. Yes, that's right. 2BA being the smallest. So for the wings, I use the 9/32. For the tail, they are slightly smaller because they don't need to be quite as strong. So I use the 1/4 inch BSF. And so there we are. Yeah, that's where I'm up to with the P-12. All going well, the next video on the P-12E will be the last one. Yes, I'm hoping to have it done and dusted by then. So what have I got left? Well, I got a bit of work on the engine to do, some spark plugs to add, spark plug leads, get the cowling on. The engine will need a bit of adjustment. I need to file a bit off the cylinder heads to get that cowling to close properly. I'll add the faceplate, and obviously the cowling needs to be painted, glued on the front. Got tires to paint and unmask, glue them on. I need to scratch build a tail skid. The control surfaces need to be finished off and added on. The windshield, a couple of other bits and bobs, navigation lights, and she'll be done. And that'll be that. And then we'll move on to other things. And there are other projects on the go, in the works, coming down the pipeline, all that painful stuff. So please stay tuned. There'll be plenty more where all this came from, like it or not. Anyway, that'll do it for today. I hope you all had a very good festive season, or whatever it is that you celebrate. And I wish you all the best for the new year. Let's hope it's going to be better than this year, at least on a planetary scale anyway. Yeah, we'll see if that works out. But that'll do it. Thanks so much for watching, and stay tuned. The videos will come thick and fast now that I'm enjoying some leisure time. Thank you, and